After accusing Lieutenant Colonel Paul Henry Damiba of breaking his vow to put an end to the Islamist conflict that has plagued Burkina Faso since 2015, Captain Ibrahim Traore overthrew his government on September 30, 2022, and became the youngest president in the world at age 34. After completing his education at Bobo Dioulasso, Burkina Faso's second city, he decided to join the military. He was described as shy and rather reserved, but also very intelligent. Captain Traore cut his teeth by battling militants in Mali when militants launched a complex attack in the northern Timbuktu region. He reportedly showed bravery while serving in the UN team there. He spent 7 months taking part in a military operation under the code name Otapuanu in the troubled east of Burkina Faso the following year. He also participated in multiple missions while serving in a Marcoya detachment in the northern Sahel region. However, Captain Traore is simply a captain who attended a nearby military institution, enlisted in the army in 2009, and trained with artillery in Morocco. He is not a decorated war general. Now that Captain Traore has come to the attention of the world, some have compared him to Burkina Faso's celebrated revolutionary Thomas Sankara. This is not surprising considering that the country is searching for political saviors after decades of misrule. The Marxist revolutionary, Pan-Africanist theorist, and military captain from Burkina Faso, named Thomas Isidore Noel Sankara, served as president of Burkina Faso from 1983 to 1987. He is frequently referred to as Africa's Che Guevara by fans who see him as a charismatic and legendary figure of revolution. After renaming his country from Upper Volta to Burkina Faso, Thomas Sankara accomplished the following in just 4 years. Sankara, who took control of the country at the age of 33 in a widely supported coup in 1983, wanted to end corruption and the influence of the previous French colonial authority. He started one of the most comprehensive social and economic change initiatives ever tried on the African continent right away. He changed the name of the nation from Upper Volta to Burkina Faso, literally, land of upright man, to represent this new autonomy and rejuvenation. His government rejected any foreign aid, pushed for odious debt reduction, nationalized all land and mineral riches, and avoided the authority and influence of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and World Bank. His foreign policies were oriented on anti-imperialism. His domestic policies prioritized education with a national literacy drive, prevented hunger with agrarian self-sufficiency and land reform, and promoted public health by immunizing 2.5 million kids against meningitis, yellow fever, and measles. His national agenda also included establishing an ambitious road and rail construction program to tie the nation together, planting over 10 million trees to stop the Sahel's increasing desertification, doubling wheat production by transferring land from feudal landlords to peasants, suspending rural poll taxes and domestic rents. On a more granular level, Sankara urged every village to create a medical clinic and had more than 350 communities build schools using their own labor. He also promoted women to top government positions, encouraged them to work outside the home, and encouraged them to continue their education even while pregnant as a result of his devotion to women's rights. He also outlawed female genital mutilation, forced marriages, and polygamy. Sankara and 12 government officials were all assassinated by an armed gang on October 15, 1987, during a coup that was planned by Blaise Compaoré, a former co-worker of Sankara. Compaoré stated that Sankara jeopardized relations with neighboring Ivory Coast and former colonial power France as one of the reasons for the deterioration in relations with neighboring nations. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission, TRC, of Liberia, was informed by Prince Johnson, a former warlord there who was a Charles Taylor ally, that it had been planned by Taylor. Even though Sankara was thought to be dead after the coup, some CDRs engaged in violent resistance against the army for a number of days. After being murdered, Sankara's body was promptly dismembered and buried in an unmarked grave, while his widow Mariam and 2 children departed the country. In order to bring in desperately needed funding to rebuild the shattered economy, Compaoré rejoined the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, promptly reversed the nationalizations and ultimately rejected the majority of Sankara's programs. The dictatorship of Compaoré ruled for 27 years before being ousted in 2014 by mass protests. Ibrahim Traore has taken over the leadership of the country just like Thomas Sankara after a military coup. Captain like him and 34 years old like him. Traore has been referred to as Sankara incarnate on social media. There have been a lot of changes in Burkina Faso since Ibrahim Traore became president. Less attacks, fewer displaced people, and he's doing something that genuinely warms the heart of Burkinabe citizens. Opening factories for Burkinabe youth and people is truly amazing. Since coming to office, the new administration has concentrated on developing a potent security response to the assaults by organizations linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State. Drones and helicopters have been purchased to defeat the jihadists, and Traore has also been seen out in the field inspiring the troops. The 35-years-old world's youngest president, Ibrahim Traore, also made wave when he accused African leaders of beggary at the Russia-Africa summit in St. Petersburg, Russia. French military left the country in February as a result of the breakdown in ties between Traore and France. The junta has a variety of foreign allies, including ties to Russia, Iran, and Venezuela. Since helping to remove Islamic militants from power in northern Mali in 2013, France has maintained troops stationed in the Sahel region of West Africa. However, as Islamist assaults increase, there is growing opposition from the populace who claim that France's military presence has had little impact. The junta in Burkina Faso claims it has nothing against France, but is seeking new military allies to combat the extremists, most notably Russia. In addition to protests in the nation's capital, Ouagadougou, where hundreds of demonstrators waved Russian flags, the anti-French mood also coincides with rising Russian backing of African nations. Despite all these achievements by Ibrahim Traore, there have been 2 military coup attempts to overthrow his government. Fingers are pointing to France and the West since they no longer have control over the resources of Burkina Faso. Revolution is the only real form of justice for Thomas Sankara. Nothing less than a revolution is capable of making up for the sins against Sankara in Africa. The time has come for Africans all over the continent to band together to defend the fight for independence being led by Mali and Burkina Faso against neo-colonialism. Beyond rhetoric, Pan-Africanism needs to take actual steps to support nations who are making Pan-African praxis part of their national policies. Do you think France is responsible for the numerous coups against Ibrahim Traore? Will Ibrahim Traore live to accomplish his mission? Let us know what you think in the comments section below, and please subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you get notified when we upload educative videos like this one.